My name is Reggie. I'm about kicking ass. I'm about taking names. And we're about making games. We like games with big stars and big explosions. And we like games so scary, they keep you up at night. It is game time. It's a new day for me, and a new day for Nintendo. So let's get a couple things straight right off the bat. Part of my job is finding a way for you, the game experts, to have fun. At the same time, I understand if you're among the terminally hip, Nintendo isn't your only choice for gaming. But maybe what you've already seen helps you understand that we're serious about expanding what we do. We also understand that we're not going to run our company just for hardcore gamers. There are gamers out there who aren't as knowledgeable as you, gamers who aren't your age, gamers who don't have your tastes, gamers who live for Mario and Yoshi and Pokemon. It's my job, it's Nintendo's job, to make sure we satisfy all the gamers and to do it better than our competition. We know that this is your third stop on the press tour over the last 24 hours. We know what you've seen and heard, so let me draw a comparison. One of our competitors is a manufacturer in Japan who wants to capture every one of your entertainment dollars, transporting all your content between all your electronics devices on their memory sticks. We're not that company. And there's another company out there who doesn't care what you do as long as you do it on their operating system. We're not that company either. Over the years, I know you've heard a lot of Nintendo people say, we're all about the game. Well, guess what? We are. Whether you're talking about Donkey Kong or Tetris, Madden or Mario, Metal Gear or Resident Evil, he with the best games wins. Always been that way, always will. As this company moves forward, you're going to see more Nintendo games and different Nintendo games, and most importantly, new ways for you to relate to your games. But let me tell you one other thing. This is not a promise for what we're going to do sometime in the future. It's what we're doing right now. And if you don't realize that, listen closely. While others are talking, Nintendo is acting. Let me ask you a question. What company right now is driving category sales? If you said someone other than Nintendo, you're wrong. We have momentum, have had it since late last year. And if you don't feel it yet, you will. I'll promise you that. Now, I'd like you to welcome a guy who's been essential in building that momentum, George Harrison.
Well, good morning. Reggie mentioned what's going on in the market right now, so let's take a look. This graph shows the industry sales, excluding Nintendo, over the last 2 quarters, compared with the previous period. Now, you don't need an MBA to realize that this really isn't a pretty picture. A full half year of negative growth. Now, let's look at what Nintendo's done in the same time periods. In the last 3 months of last year, up a whopping 21%. And in the first quarter of this year, despite the fact that we're competing with our own success, last year launching Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, Zelda Wind Waker, and even Game Boy Advance SP, we're up another 7%. So without Nintendo, there would be no growth. On the console side, we see plenty of business yet to be done in this generation. And unlike one of our competitors, who appears anxious for this generation to end, we're intent on fully playing out our hand. It's how we've always played the game because it works. Right now, industry growth is being delivered by Nintendo, only by Nintendo. And that's because we're focused on the here and now. Here's the up-to-date scorecard on the console business. Over the last year, Sony has sold through about 6 million machines. That's a decline of about 28% from the year before. Microsoft moved about 3.2 million machines, essentially flat with the previous year. During that same period, Nintendo sold through over 3.3 million units of GameCube, a jump of 41%. And yes, that is good for second place. So when you run the software equation, you get a very similar answer. Nintendo GameCube is more than holding its own. So far in 2004, we sold more games per system than Microsoft, and we're closing in on Sony. Now, overall, the three systems combined have sold about 38 million units in this generation. And we believe that the potential for this generation is more than 55 million units. That means there are almost 20 million units still to be sold. And you have to ask yourself, what will sell them? Well, this is the fourth system that Nintendo has introduced and managed to the back half of a console cycle. And we've learned that success here always relies on the same three things. First, we've all burned through the hardcore early adopters, the gamers who want the most extreme challenges. They want them to occupy them for weeks or days at a time. The late adopters want something else. They want pure entertainment. Entertainment that's easy to get into, and often just for a quick burst of time. And second, they want familiarity. They want names and characters from past generations that they're comfortable with. And finally, and most importantly, they want value. They're hunting for bargains. Major play for minor pay. Now, any of these three factors can win the market share in the back half of a console cycle. But if you've got all three going for you, this is what you get. We dropped the Nintendo GameCube price in late September. After 30 days, sales were up 50% over the same period in the previous year. After 60 days, they were up 58%. And counting through the holidays, even though we had already begun to run out of inventory, we sold more than 73% more GameCubes than we did in the prior year. Now this chart does two things. First, it shows you why Nintendo is driving growth for the industry. And at the same time, it sets the bar for sales performance from our console competitors. Can those competitors grow 73% in their first